Welcome to episode 101 of our Family Travel Australia series. This week we camp off-grid at one of the top end's best campsites located within the incredibly beautiful Nitmiluk, Katherine National Park. We spend 4 fantastic days hiking and immersing ourselves in the tranquil environment of Edith Falls, chasing waterfalls, swimming in secluded rock pools, and soaking up the stunning landscape that abounds in the Northern Territory. And we are spoilt with a rare display of courtship from our feathered campsite neighbour. Plus, we take you through the ins and outs of our hiking backpack and tips on what to include on your next walking adventure. Be sure to subscribe and join us for all of the adventure.
Okay. Edith Falls. Okay, this is pretty cool. We actually came here on a bit of a recce, a bit of a day trip the other day with my brother Jeff, and we absolutely loved it. It's been rated as one of the best campsites in the Northern Territory, so we thought, well, we've got to come and stay and see for ourselves. I spoke to Lisa and she said you need to be here by 8:30 a.m. if you are any chance of getting a caravan site. So we left Mataranka at Bitter Springs this morning at about 6:30 a.m, the earliest time for the Feel Good family to ever hit the road. And although it's only about 150 clicks up the road, that took us exactly 2 hours. It was a beautiful time to actually drive. The fuel economy was at about 20 litres per 100 kilometres, so a little bit under what it has been of late, so pretty good. We took it easy. Now Katie has joined the queue. There is a number of vans here before us, at least 6, so I'm not sure what that actually means, but fingers crossed that we're here for a couple of nights and not just a day trip. All right, Edith Falls, love it. Are we in, Kate? Woo! Hey, Jasper, we're staying here.
Yes, we made it. Okay, so we've got 2 nights on a great site. It's all unpowered here and no water hookups, but all the water access points within the park are drinking water, and you can fill up through buckets and containers if you need to fill your tanks. $30 a night, so it's $15 per adult. Jasper being under 5 is free. Right. We can't get in until 10 o'clock. Checking everybody in was fantastic. So just addressed everybody at the start, let us know, you know, what the deal is, what we can and can't do here. And it's amazing really when you look at it, because that ebb and flow of people coming in and out, like she's working out what sites are going to become available today at 10 o'clock and where to place people based on the size of their rig. And so, yeah, really cool. Oh, I'm so excited.
So good. All right, then we got time for brekkie and another coffee. Awesome when you're in a campsite like this, whether that's free camping, but either way you're off grid and so you don't have access to power. The solar panel is out. We've got 300 watts on the roof, and we've got our 300 watt solar panel here that plugs directly into the van via an Anderson plug. But a really cool little trick we've come up with, might be a tip that can help you, is to get a good angle on your solar panels. We're just using our table because we're heading out, and then just leveraging our little shovel there just to get a nice angle. And you can see it's able that way to move it right out into the sun. We're actually running a 10-meter extension lead out to this solar panel. That means that you can still have the van under the shade of a tree, especially when it's 36 degrees like it is today, and then you can put the solar panel out wherever you like, as long as you're able to, you know, find a patch where you can get the sun. So it's a pretty nifty little setup.
The great yellow sun is reflecting in your deep blue eyes. The day has begun. You spin around, you laugh to yourself. And I see you shine in every color, resting your head in my arms. You sing la 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 la. My God, I think I might be in love.
We have had the most wonderful few days here at Edith Falls, located in the Nitmiluk National Park. Wow.
Yeah, wow, all right. The campsite, as far as being a national park campsite, is so awesome. Now the camp fees, $15 per adult per night. Just by being under 5 is free, which was fantastic. Our lovely neighbour Rick, who we met, is a senior. $12 a night. How good is that?
I can see why Rick has come back here for his second week, because at that price, who would ever want to leave?
Oh, well, and in a location like this.
Yeah.
The way that they've laid out the campground here is fantastic, and it caters for every style of traveller, whether you are in a swag or a tent or your rooftop camper. We've seen lots of rental campers and motorhomes, and of course lots of caravans like ours, and they have sites that cater for larger rigs as well. And every site has access to this green grassy patch, which has been so lovely to not only look out on but make use of as well. The groundsmen are certainly doing an awesome job in this sort of bush environment.
Yeah, and it's incredibly well treed, and so you want to make sure that you've got your power sorted, whether that's through a really great lithium setup or some really great solar, or like what we've got where you can actually move the solar to chase the sun. There is plenty of sunshine, that's for sure, and so our batteries have been at 100%. Still enjoyed our coffees in the morning and everything else that we need to keep powered up.
You keep your wife happy.
Yeah, exactly. The other thing, and we've already said it, is to really get here early. There are only a limited amount of sites, particularly for bigger rigs, so it is important to make sure that you're here. 8:30 a.m. is what they suggest, and that is pretty well on the money the time that we arrive. So
yeah, that's right. They don't take bookings, of course, so you do need to come and just add yourself to the queue at the kiosk and keep your fingers crossed that you do get a site. But they do an excellent job of making sure that they can accommodate for as many people as possible. You access the park at 10 a.m. once everybody who's leaving that day has left, and it's a really good system that works well, and then soon enough you can get out and explore.
the kiosk is really great too. So there are meals there all day. I think they close the kitchen at 2 p.m, but you still can grab cold beverages and ice cream. It isn't licensed, so if you did want to bring your own beverage, then you'll need to make sure you've got that on board. You can access the pools, which is the real reason why everyone comes here, from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. daily. One of the highlights of our stay here was being here on a Saturday night and getting to enjoy their famous pizza and acoustic night. And gee, we enjoyed that. Good couple of hours, some great pizzas, a great night of cooking, and the acoustic talents of Alison, all the way from Tamworth, to really share her beautiful music with us. It was great.
Oh, talk about being so remote and then having such a great experience like that and enjoying that with fellow campers. Just a great night out, and of course in this awesome warm weather.
Another amazing highlight for us was to be here on our campsite, which is number 32, and be joined by the resident great bowerbird, as the species is called. I'm going to overlay some beautiful footage here, and do stay to the end of the episode, and I'll include a longer segment of the beautiful display from this great bowerbird.
Impressing his lady.
Yes, good job, isn't it?
Some good tips to know about the campground so you can be really prepared before you come. There are no powered sites, nor are there any water hookups. However, there is drinking water available throughout the entire campground from taps that you can easily fill your water containers with if you need to top up your tanks. We would recommend you come with full tanks. Come with an empty cassette. There is no dump point here at the campground. The closest is in Katherine to the south, which is about 60 kilometres down the road.
Yeah, so that's a good tip actually. With us staying here a few nights, if you're going to stay longer, like 5 to 7 nights, then you can also access a Woolworths, fuel, the dump point and everything else that you'd need from Katherine, only 30 minutes drive down the road.
Yeah, and you certainly don't need to be fully self-contained. They do have amenities here, bathrooms and showers as well. No campfires. We are in the national park, and of course that means none of your four-legged family members either.
Okay, so the real reason why you come here and want to stay forever is because of Edith Falls. Absolutely one of the most stunning natural environments that we have been able to visit.
Oh, for sure. We actually came and did a day trip a few days before we came back to stay, and we walked the 2.8 kilometre loop to what is known as the Upper Pool, and wow.
Yeah, and getting to share that with my brother Jeff as well, while we had him for that few days, was really fantastic for all of us, and especially for Jasper. When you first come over that rise and you look down and you see what is almost a perfectly designed playground, something that you'd see at a very large theme park, you know, and themed as a water playground, but it's natural and it's been there for hundreds of thousands of years. It is absolutely breathtakingly beautiful.
It is, and it is one to make sure that you do when you come here. It's classed as easy to moderate. The first 500 or so metres, if you do walk it in a loop from the kiosk, are probably the hardest because you are walking uphill to get up the mountain. And then it is fairly easy, although there are sections that can be quite rocky underfoot. Look, we saw many people walking in their flip-flops or thongs. We had our hikers on to make sure that we were looking after ourselves as much as possible, but we did pass lots of people in their swimmers with their towel over their shoulder, walking in their thongs. About halfway, there's a beautiful lookout that looks down over the lower pool, and this is a much larger, almost dam-like area with its own waterfall, and we enjoyed blobbing around in that very fresh...
It's cold.
It took Jasper and I a little while to get in, but a great one to take your pool noodle and just blob around on a hot day.
Look, our temperatures that we've been getting here have hovered around 35 degrees, 36 degrees today. So yeah, once you're in and you've acclimatized and got over that initial shock, it is absolutely fantastic.
Yes, and the best reward after that 1.8 kilometre hike to get up to the upper pool was getting in that crystal clear, freezing cold water to cool down, because it was seriously hot by the time we got there, and just amazing.
The water is crystal clear. There are resident little fish that come and go, and that's pretty awesome to actually watch as well, because you can literally see to the bottom. The waterfalls themselves are absolutely stunning, and to be able to sit there and watch the ebb and flow of people. There was a period of about 15 minutes when there was no one in the top pool where the waterfall was. An incredibly beautiful place.
Yes, and lots of shallower, smaller rock pools as well. So if you are hiking with your family and you have the younger children with you, it makes for a great place for them to be able to get in the water and splash about and have fun.
There isn't a lot of shade, so make sure that you are sun smart, hat, sunscreen. We had our long rashies on as well. That's some really good advice, because it is direct sun.
Yep, and it's so beautiful up there that you are going to want to spend a good amount of time. I think we would have had a good few hours swimming and then just hanging out, having some snacks, and really taking in how beautiful that environment
we said that
was.
enough. Amazing. Okay, before we say goodbye to Edith Falls and we make our way further north toward Darwin, we got to finish off our stay this morning with a walk to Longpaw. Wow, this was again such a highlight for us, and I think for families or for those with younger kids, this would be our hot tip, because it's not actually signed on the main walking trail board, and it is about 5 kilometres return from our van here in the campground. Jasper though did it with ease. It was, I think, a grade 4, so it is a moderately hard walk, but we went well prepared. We left early so we weren't walking in the height of the sun during the middle of the day, and then what you're met with is your own private 350 metre pool that at the top end has a beautiful set of waterfalls, and we were the only ones there.
And Jasper loved the sandy beach that he had all to himself. So thank you, Edith Falls. We have absolutely loved every minute.
I'll be on the channel now.
Okay.
See you guys.
Lovely to meet you. Safe travels.
See you soon. Oh, are you part of this same team?
Yeah, we're part of it.
Oh, wow, you're in good company.
Good company, that's the main
Have fun.
Good on you guys.
Good on you.
All right, it's so great when you get to a campground like this in the Northern Territory at Edith Falls. We absolutely have fallen in love with this place.
So beautiful here.
And our neighbour, Rick, who we got to enjoy acoustic guitar session and pizza with last night, said, okay, there's something that's actually not on the trail map because the little tag's been pulled off, but it's called Longpaw.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, about halfway, I think, on the way to the Sweetwater pool, which is the longest walk that you can do here, 8.5 kilometres.
Yep.
So this one will be perfect for Jasper. We've walked this distance many times before, and I'll tell you what, by the time you do it, it's so good to get into that freezing, refreshing, crisp water and cool down after a long hike. So looking forward to that.
All right, here we go. So 5K's return ahead of us. It's a little bit steep, this first bit. Jasper's powering on up. Lead the way. Hey, let's go for it, mate. beautiful day in the territory. Oh, we had to say goodbye to Edith Falls.
Gee, that was awesome. I loved our days there.
Yeah.
Such a beautiful spot.
And it's so nice to feel sun-kissed.
Oh, yes.
I love it.
Yeah, it is.
Colour in our
I
bones.
know.
Bit of vitamin D. Now we're on our final leg of our epic road trip, really, this week. Where are we going, Jasper?
We are going to Darwin.
Yes, that's right. And it's just shy of 300 kilometres from Edith Falls to Darwin. We're actually staying in a little place called Howard Springs.
Yes, in a hip camp property, which is awesome. There's quite a few hip camp properties available in and around Darwin. I think it's about 30 minutes outside of the city itself. But yeah, awesome. Really looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's nice to find a private property like this where you're away from other vans. I mean, I think they allowed 2 sites on their property,
Yeah.
so fantastic. We're looking forward to having a good few weeks here in Darwin. We've got a bit of work happening to the caravan, a bit of work happening to the truck, all being well with schedules and everything else that's going on with deliveries in Australia. And it'll give us a chance to really check it out, but also get ourselves recalibrated and ready for the next part of the adventure.
Awesome.
All right.
I'm so looking forward to exploring Darwin City.
Oh yeah, it looks fantastic.
Yes.
I mean, absolutely beautiful place. So here we go, on our way. We're going to stop at a couple of places on the way. I think Pine Creek is just up the road here. I'll also check out Adelaide River as well. A few other Speedy Gonzaleses get past us now. There you go, guys. We're sitting on 100 kilometres an hour. There you go. I'll give you an idea of the speed some people travel at. It is 130 limit. So if you can do it, right? Slow and steady. Yeah.
Not when you
Nice and easy. All right, here we go. Darwin. Woo!
Woohoo!
Bye.
Bye.
Welcome to the tropics. We are so loving our time here in the top end. We are going to show you all around this awesome campsite next episode, so stay tuned for that. Today we wanted to talk about hiking and what we take with us in our hiking backpack. Now, just for being only 4, our hikes at this stage are half day, probably maximum of 5 or 6 kilometers that he can do on his own 2 feet. But that is going to continue to evolve as he gets a little bit older. We have just been loving hiking here in the Northern Territory, and it's really ignited that passion to get outdoors and explore what our country has to offer. So eventually we hope to be able to do some overnight multi-day hikes as he continues to grow, which means that our hiking backpack is going to continue to evolve and grow as well. But for now, we've got a fairly basic kit that covers off everything you need to keep you safe and happy and well when you are hiking. So let's start with the bag. I think that's probably one of the most important things, is choosing a very comfortable, very sturdy backpack. Paul carries a backpack, but that is full of all of our camera gear and equipment. So he is fully loaded up with that, which means the hiking backpack is on my back. We love our Kathmandu bag, and there's a whole range of different hiking Kathmandu bags that you can get. For now, we are just taking our stainless steel reusable water bottles. However, as our hikes do progress and become longer, I think we will move to the Camelback backpacks that have the water bladder already inside them so that you can easily stay hydrated when you hike. Probably the most important thing on your hike is knowing that you have your first aid covered and also your communications, that you are able to communicate if you need, if you find yourself in a less than desirable situation. So as far as first aid goes, we always take our little first aid kit with us. Every standard item in there. We also have some of our natural first aid with our essential oils in there as well. And we have an additional snake and spider bite kit. We live in Australia. We have, seriously, how many of the world's most deadliest animals here that can literally kill us? So being prepared with a kit like this, or at the very least the compression bandages that you need to deal with snake and spider bites, is a really smart move. And as a side note, seeking out and completing a first aid course before you set off on your travels, especially if you are traveling with kids, is a must. Okay, let's talk about communications. So you'll no doubt have your smartphone with you that'll have a compass on there and the GPS locations. However, you may not have service in some of these areas. We picked ourselves up a Garmin InReach Mini. This is a compact satellite communication GPS device, and it also has two-way messaging. Paul is actually going to cover off this in much more detail again in an upcoming episode, but we've been taking this with us everywhere we've been hiking, particularly out here in the Northern Territory where phone service is sketchy or pretty much non-existent. The other great thing to take with you is your 5-watt UHF radio. Most national parks will be on channel 10. However, do check on the information board at the ranger's hut or at the entry on the signage there to see what channel they are on. And channel 5 is also the channel that you want to access in an emergency situation. But great to have one of these on hand as well. Okay, a couple of other things to keep you safe and secure. A multi-tool Swiss Army knife. You know, millions of uses for this, and you probably won't appreciate it until you actually need one, but great to carry with you. And also a torch. A headlamp is a great idea. It frees up your hands, particularly if you find yourself out after dark. Now, carrying a compass is also another excellent tool, and one that we are really looking forward to relearning together as a family. Jasper was recently gifted this little compass, so we are going to start to pick ourselves up the hard copy maps and teach ourselves orienteering, as particularly when you're out in the wilderness away from service and signal, having a hard copy map and a compass is a great idea. Now, if you like us and you do rely on your tech, or you have your personal locator beacon or any devices that may require recharging, carrying a power bank is also an excellent idea. And these come in all shapes and sizes as well, so you can get them much smaller than this just to fit inside your backpack. Hiking poles is another really great idea. A lot of the trails that we have been hiking on recently, whilst they've been fairly easy, have been quite rocky underfoot. So having the extra stability of your hiking poles is a great idea. What we love is that they collapse down to a fairly short length, so you can easily carry them in a backpack if you're not using them, and then they can be adjusted to suit anybody's height requirement. If you've been watching our channel, you will know that Paul broke his ankle about a year ago. So we always make sure that he's wearing his U-Butte ankle brace as well. Okay, let's talk about personal care. Having a great pair of hiking boots or shoes is an excellent idea, and also being sun smart. So a wide brim hat, protective clothing. We love natural products, so we opt for a natural sunscreen, and we also make up our own repellent blend and an itchy blend using our beautiful essential oils. We pack hand sanitizer, lip balm and soothing throat lozenges. Fly nets, a great idea in case you are out in the bush or you are hiking during summer. There's nothing more annoying, as Paul will tell you, squatting away those pesky flies. We pack a towel and we always carry a wet bag, regardless of whether we're going to go swimming or not. It's a great way to keep things waterproof. Snacks. Snacks are super important. We always carry beautiful fresh fruit that won't bruise easily. I like to make up a trail mix, healthy, full of good fats and sugars that are going to give you the energy to keep you hiking. And a tip that I read on another family blog was to make sure that you have some snacks in the car for when you get back after your hike as a reward for the hungry, tired kids. Water, we always carry our water bottles, and we've recently picked up some water purification tablets as well. And if you are doing longer hikes, these are a great idea to make sure that you can access water out in the environment if you need it. Other practical items include a garbage bag. Make sure that you take your mess with you. So we just like to recycle any plastic bags that come into our environment, or our little silicone bags are also another great way to take our scraps with us. Wipes, we always have wipes on us, having a 4-year-old, but they do double well in place of taking toilet paper. And if you do find yourself in need of making a fire, it's a good idea to always have either a lighter or some matches on you. You can in fact buy waterproof matches. And again, when I was doing my research, I read that cotton balls make great fire starters, or if you're looking for a compact version of that, a tampon is another great idea. Paul's favourite fire starter are Dorito corn chips. So if you are partial to snacking on corn chips, make sure that you have some Doritos in your bag in case you need to use them as a fire starter as well. And lastly, Jasper's backpack. So he has his own little Kathmandu backpack that he carries his water bottle and some snacks in, also a couple of toys for him to be able to play with whenever we stop and take a break, and some fun things like a magnifying glass and a compass are great ways to keep the kids engaged on your hike. If you have any other gear that you include in your hiking day pack that we don't have listed here, please let us know in the comments below. We would love to continue to update this kit as our hiking experience grows and evolves. I think the most important thing to remember is that a little preparation is going to prevent a problem that you may not necessarily be able to deal with out in the middle of nowhere, and that is going to keep you loving exploring our great outdoors. Happy trails!
Thanks for watching. Please do like, subscribe and share our channel. And if you'd like more information on full-time RV travel and living, visit our website, thefeelgoodfamily.com.au. There you'll find loads of free resources, our weekly podcast, caravan cooking recipes, our monthly Go RV magazine articles and much more. We look forward to seeing you next week. Take care of yourself and your family, and happy trails. Now everyone's wishing they did that.
The wee ones. Okay.
Wow.
You can see on there.
Yeah.
That is what we should have done. I should have thought of that. That's exactly what I said. Maybe they'll hire it to us after they're finished with it. Okay, Katie's completely chickened out. So I think I need to go and coax her in or push her in. What? You wouldn't? Hey! 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 Happy? Yes. Happy? Happy? Yes. Yes. You need a hat, check. You need boots, check. You need water, check. And if you've got a walking stick, you can use one, but no bikes. Are we all good to go?
Yes, and the arrow's pointing this way. There's another sign up here.
All right,
The diesel's train ready.
lead the way. I'm gonna feel my body. No. You can have some of my noodle. How good is this? Northern Territory, our new favourite state, people.